Hello everyone, Jennifer with Crafty Bones. So I want to do a quick video. I am on my 9th day of COVID now, so I've just sort of been trying to recover. When my husband got sick, he didn't get very sick at all. My body aches were just ridiculous, just awful. It was all I could do just to, it didn't matter. Sitting up, lying down, walking, standing, doing nothing. It was all painful. But I did want to come on and make a video. It's been a really long time. This is the Afghan that I finished, the granny square that I finished. And I started it months and months and months ago on a video way back when. And as you can see, it is now complete with a border. And I did do a double crochet border in each of the 4 colors that I used. The 4 colors that I used. They're all big twist yarn. And this is aqua. I went through 1 full skein and probably half of another one. I need to cake that up. So just trying to keep it good. Medium gray. That is about the same amount as well. They all have about the same amount left. Bubble gum. Put that one in there. It's a really, I mean, most of you have probably used the big twist. It's a really soft yarn. I liked working with it. I'm just hoping that when this washes, it'll be softer. And grape. So those are the 4 colors that I used. And I know that I talked about it on an earlier video of how I went about deciding what squares I was going to make. I'm not a person that likes to do anything without any kind of plan. So you can see that this is, it's a big old mess. It's a big old mess. But what I did do was decide which color was going to be which letter. So each one was assigned A, B, C, or D. And then I made a chart for myself of all of the squares that I wanted. So like the first set of, there's 12 different squares, and the first one was, the order was A, B, C, D, and then I bordered it back with the A that I started with. The next one was A, C, D, B, A, so that I had the exact same amount of each style. So I don't know if you can see this, but I started out as a circle and then finished it off as a square. Anyway, so after I had all of those done, this was my first attempt at deciding the layout of the blocks. And then I realized that that was a really large repeat pattern because I had purple, pink, purple, pink, purple, pink, and then gray, blue, gray, blue, gray, blue. I'm like, well, that's not what I wanted. That was my first attempt, I think, yeah. And then this was my second attempt where I started up here and that wasn't working out the way I wanted it. And then this is what I finally ended up with. So yeah, I really don't do much of anything without any kind of plan. And so that's the plan that I did. And when I do a granny square afghan, instead of when I'm not doing join as you go, and when I'm doing this where I'm making a pattern, because they all have a different final color, and I didn't want them to have all the same final color. I like it more broken up like this. So the first thing I did was I laid out all 12 of these out flat and then laid this one on top of it, the right sides together, and then I sewed down that first seam. And so they weren't connected from top to bottom, but they were connected side to side. And then I started with the next one, same thing. So then I have all of these pieces that are connected this way and nothing's connected this way. Anyway, it's the way I like to do it. I know it's probably not the way somebody else would choose to do it. That's just what kept me sane, is having it all written down the way I wanted to do it. So once I completed that, that was completed several days ago. I keep this container, and then at the end of each year, it's been a different container. But at the end of each year, I figure out, well, I haven't, but I don't even care this year. I keep all of the wrappers of all of the skeins that I completely emptied for that year, so I can see just what I accomplished, because it doesn't always feel like you've done a whole lot. So if you keep the wrappers, and now mind you, anything like this, because I didn't complete this, this wrapper isn't included. So this is only wrappers of yarns that I have completely finished the skeins of. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what I finished this year, and by using yarn ball bands. And these are, I mean, it still doesn't feel like a lot looking at it, but when I think of all of the projects that I completed, and then it feels a lot more like I did a lot more. And I just keep pulling these out of here, but when I look in there, I still see all of these bands of cotton from doing all of the washcloths for Rose. Rose likes crochet for wings this year. And so, you know, as I throw them in there throughout the year and I look at the pile grow, it never feels like it's very much. And so I like to, at the end of the year, typically sit down and figure out how much yardage I used. But I don't want to do it's just been too rough of a last week and a half. But these are all the ball bands of all the yarn balls that I completely emptied this year. So I feel pretty good. Knowing that there was a long period of time where I couldn't crochet at all because it just hurt too badly, I feel really good about this. It's fine. Now I can throw them away and start this year's. And for this year, my first project was, I bought this pattern months ago now. It's got to be months ago. I bought it on Ravelry, but I seen someone had made the shawl, and had put the name out. And so I went and found the pattern. I don't remember how much it cost me, maybe $7 US, I think, on Ravelry, but that was with taxes. But this is it. It's called the Ultimate Sacrifice. And I love the yarn that she used color-wise, but I wanted to use something that I had in my stash. So I used a Cotton King. I'm not finished with it, but I do have, if I like it, it's working up nicely. But if I like it, I have 3 more Cotton King cakes that I may just make some more. So, the Cotton Kings are normally like $20-some, and I think I got them on sale really cheaply. So, but yeah, I downloaded that from Ravelry. And again, I think it was around $7. I'm not sure. The lady's name is Lorraine Pugh Designs. So let me see if I can show you that. That way maybe you can screenshot that if you feel like you want to buy it. Now, it is worked up in a 4-strand fingering weight with a 3.5 millimeter hook. So it is stressful on your hands if small isn't your normal. The yarn that she used is a wool, but it's a lightweight shawl. I would never use a wool for a lightweight shawl. So I did it in cotton, and then it can be used whenever you want to. But here is all the stats page. It does say that it her recommended weight, or her recommended yarn, is Merino Twin Base Gradient by Wolfell. It's on Etsy. It uses about 800 meters. Maybe row wise, I'm well over halfway through, but size wise, it doesn't feel like it's big. And I crochet so tightly that I'm wondering if I'm going to have to add rows to it just so I get all the colors of the cake onto the pattern. So I'm not going to show you any of the pattern notes other than that, because that's not really anything protected. It's just telling you what kind of yarn you're going to need. And that's just to keep you informed. If you decide you want to try this shawl, then you'll at least know what you're looking for. 800 meters of a fingering weight 4-ply. So it's a 4-strand yarn. There was only a few problems I had with the pattern. There's 3 at the beginning of the shawl on rows 6, 12, and 18. They are what she's calling her lace rows. The pattern instructions are not very clear, and I'm assuming that a lot of people had an issue with them because she does include with the download now a different type of pattern for those rows. So she'll give you a different 6, a different 12, and a different 18 to do instead of the ones that are originally in the pattern. And I think it's because when I first started it and I followed her pattern explicitly, now every other row works beautifully, don't get me wrong. Every other row, if you follow the instructions, it's easy to understand. If you read the pattern first, because there's notes and hints that she gives you at the beginning and at the end. And if you follow those, then the rest of it works out pretty well. But those lace rows, the counts just weren't working out for me. It wasn't working out at all. But I found later in the pattern that she does give you an alternative that is not lace. It's just another flat row like the rows above and below. I didn't want them to be flat, so I worked out the lace rows on my own using her stitches, but in a different count to make my stitch count match, if that makes any sense. So the row is still a lace row or an open design, like a fillet, but it's not her stitch count, it's my own with using her stitch suggestions. I think that helps. Anyway, so let me get my project here. So this is what I have so far. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. So you'll see these are the little fillet rows that I was talking about. There's row 6, 12, and 18. And I don't think that the pattern would be as nice if you don't include those lace rows. And so I didn't want to follow her suggestion to do a flat row. So that's why I wanted to show you. It does make a difference. Excuse me. So here's the rest of the cake. You can see I'm almost done with orange, and then we're going to move on to yellow. And it feels like I've used less than half the cake, and I've only gone through 3 colors, and there's some, 1, 2, 3, 4 more colors left to go. So my worry is, even though the last rows are much wider, that I'm going to end up with a lot of purple left here, and I would rather add another row than leave purple on here, because we got to have the purple on there. But that's what I've been working on with my free time. But I will say that with the headache even that I had, my eyesight just was not working. It didn't matter, glasses, no glasses. Just an hour in, my eyes were, I just couldn't see anything. So I'd have to put it down and walk away, put eye drops on my eyes, and just come back to it just so that I could read it again. So I didn't get a lot accomplished, but I did get some accomplished. But a lot of the time, all I just wanted to do was lay down. I didn't want to do anything else. Everything was just painful. But sorry I've been away so long, and thanks for stopping by, and happy crocheting.